Okay. This is designed to be in there just finger tight. Not super scrunch or wrench tight. I gotta get
About the running it in through the frost.
Oh, I'm just saying that it is capable of cutting a couple inches of frost. You can have 2 inches of snow or 3 inches of snow and no frost. You can still put a fence in with your Janick. Or you got no snow, which means you've still got some traction for the wheels, and a couple inches of frost, you can still go put a fence in because it'll cut that frost.
Okay.
It'll cut frozen driveways. And
then what do you do to this?
Okay, this is just
in the snow. You're saying
cold,
I would switch this
when it's cold weather. So you'll take this off and put it on like so. So now it's going to pick up warm air off the engine.
Oh, the intake from the
intake is right here.
Okay.
Okay, but we don't want it taking up warm air now.
Right.
These things are.
Okay, and then you said these are my only 2 Zerks down here?
That's the only place you got to grease.
Okay.
What else I was going to say about the air cleaner, there's a pre-filter over the paper filter that has got a light film of K&N oil on it. Well, it doesn't have to be K&N, it can be any oil, but check that after you've done some dusty conditions.
Okay.
And I know you got them.
So it's an oil-soaked air cleaner.
Yep. Okay. It's designed to keep the fine particles of dust out.
I've had that on my mower, so I can do that.
So you know what that's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. Look in down here. See those 2 gray pulleys?
Okay.
And here's your belt. The crankshaft, of course, is horizontal. And the drive for the transaxle is vertical, so the belt has to make a 90-degree turn going back there.
Okay.
You have a pair of those pulleys in your preventive maintenance kit. You're not going to have to worry about that belt till you got 250 or 300 hours on this machine.
Okay.
And figure 1 job, 1 hour.
Okay.
You know, some jobs will be 3 hours and some will be 10 minutes. 1 job, 1 hour.
So, okay, so looking at this, at my yard, it's a 5,000 square foot lot. I mean, if you just did a perimeter.
Your whole yard would probably take 20 minutes to do the trenching.
Just the trenching.
Yeah.
And then I would be going through the landscaping or whatever with a rake or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And now, when you come, eventually you're going to have to change that belt. There's even a YouTube video out there somewhere of a guy showing how to change it. I think I saw that. Yep. Maybe he did. Take the front guard off. Then this black cast iron piece that's bolted to the engine, that's got the hydraulic pump mounted to it. Right. Well, you take that off the engine and tip that whole works away. Just leave them hanging on the hoses. That's not going to hurt anything. Okay. And at that point, you'll see the belt is a straight ahead deal. You got to get your fingers in here and manipulate it over the.
I'll be able to still turn the pulleys a little bit.
You will be able to. Yep. And come around to this side. Down here we've got 2 fuses. This one with the heavy wires is the starting circuit for the engine. Very, very unlikely that that's ever going to pop. But if you should get a short in the solenoid or something like that, that would blow that fuse and keep you from burning up the starter. Okay. This fuse is for the hydraulic control. Now, this is the valve for the hydraulics, and it's electric. That's why you have to have a good battery, and you've got to have a battery or your trench is not going to work.
That's a 6 or a 12?
It's a 12-volt battery. It's a motorcycle battery. Very, very, very common motorcycle battery.
Okay.
Okay. And
hi.
So the time will.
Yeah, he can investigate. These are built for him anyway, so.
It could happen that at some point you'll squeeze the lever to operate the blade, and the blade won't turn. Right. And it might be because this fuse is popped. That's why there's a 7.5 amp extra fuse in here.
Okay, so they're both the same fuses.
No, this is a 30 amp and this is a 7.5 amp.
Oh, okay, okay.
And for the hydraulic, you probably there will be no reason to change that until you do your regular maintenance 250, 300 hours from now. Okay. Engines are engines. Change the first oil after about 10 hours, and after that, right around 50 hours or so.
Okay. Okay.
Depending on how dirty the conditions you're having to deal with.
Yeah, this wire.
Yep, that's the spool of wire.
The pivot brake is on here to keep so that you have some control over the swinging back and forth. Let's lift this up for me. Just tip it up. All the way. Right, it's standing on its nose. Without the pivot brake, this thing is free to slop around as much as it wants. But after you do tighten down the pivot brake, now we've got some control over it. Now if you're going to be doing a side hill, like some folks are going to ask you to put the fence in along the ditch,
like that?
On the roadside, along something like that. Yeah, you'll want to run that. You want to run that so that the hill is up here. You're on the downside. We'll swing the handlebar off to the side. Tighten the pivot brake down, and now you've got control of the machine. You don't have to worry about it.
I'm downhill, you said.
Yep, you're downhill. Otherwise, without tightening the toolbar, because it's so heavy, wants to be hanging out here in space, making life miserable for you.
Boy, they thought of everything, didn't
Well, he did it for a while before he started building the machine, so he kind of knew what he wanted.
I'm really mechanical. My dad worked construction all his life. I grew up Robert Prince. I worked for a research center for a gas pipeline company for 3 years, and they taught me a lot of stuff. So
you would have picked up a few things.
Yes, I have.
That's right.
I wouldn't want to run this. I'd probably lose control of it, but it's a big machine.
I was an installer for 10 years before I started building. Well, during that time I started building these.
What?
You said top down? It's got to be rolling off the top?
Yeah. And here, take this one off. Let's put this one on. This is just for a spacer. You got to get yourself a spacer. Piece of PVC or anything. Block of wood with a hole in it. Some blocks of wood with some holes in them. It doesn't matter. Okay, put that. Now put that one back on there. And you may have to use the choke every time you start it, even when it's warm.
Okay.
But as soon as it starts to fire, when you push the choke in, it'll be running.
Okay.
They are that way.
Yeah, because I'm gonna give them kind of a curve there and then bring it back around.
You're gonna bring it right alongside the sidewalk. You already did that, right?
I didn't do it, but there's no wire in the front yard at all. Now, how did you do that right there?
That's reverse.
That's reverse?
That's hydrostatic, so the speed that you travel is directly related to how hard you squeeze.
Okay.
Like so. We're going to be creeping along here in the driveway.
Oh, so if I wanted to go the other way, I can. Just by switching. Oh, there you go. Okay.
the top of the spool through the wire guide, and this has got a gate in it so that you don't have to cut the wire to get it out of there. Then through the wire shoe, close the door on the wire shoe. That's what holds it shut.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's protects all the insulation or whatever. Is there a roller in there or something?
No, it's just smooth.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you switched it to forward just so it wouldn't rip it up too bad.
When I get close to the tree, I anticipate there's tree wood.
Okay.
And I have to cut through that. In northern rotation, I have to hold down on it somewhat. That was my first move.
Right. And I would say to stay inside of that about 8 inches or so, that would be fine.